everyone, Sam Rodgers here. One of the greatest challenges we face looking into the future is our state government's financial deficit. I have three clear ways that our state government can save money. But first, let's look at the way my opponent thinks about this issue.
I have a bill to raise the marginal tax rate on people making $5 million a year, $10 million, $100 million a year, so that some of that money could come back in to support the general public and government functions.
There are many reasons that I believe this approach is unsound. They go beyond the fact that New York already taxes its residents at a much higher rate than many other states. The fact of the matter is, it's speculative. First, how many people do you know that report $5, $10, or $100 million of income a year? Not that many. The pool of people to pull from is not large, and the bill does not even predict how many people it reaches. Second, of these high wage earners, they have some of the best accountants in the world. So once we raise the marginal tax rate on them, they will find legal ways to report underneath those thresholds. And finally, they're some of the most mobile people in the world. Many of them already have houses in other states, and once we make it more expensive for them, their families, and their companies to be in New York, they'll move elsewhere. And then we not only lose what we're skimming off the top of them with this bill, but we lose everything underneath it. And the governor has even criticized my opponent's bill for that reason. My opponent argues this will be better for the general public, but when the high taxpayers leave, the general public shoulders that burden. So I believe there are three ways that we can save money for the state right now. The first is last year, the state legislature voted to earmark $100 million over the next 3 years for public financing of campaigns. Now, I would love for you to donate to my campaign, but I don't think you should be obligated to from the government. Many people have said that's good for you to be able to use public money to run your campaign. Exactly. It's good for me. It's not good for you. And we need elected officials who are going to look out for what's good for you. Second, I think we need to take a hard look at cutting state elected officials' pensions. There's no need to be motivated to serve by a beefy pension. Senators already have great fringe benefits and other perks to the job. They don't need to be motivated by a state pension that really just motivates them to stay in their chair as long as possible. That is not the best way to govern, and it could save a lot of money. Finally, to get into the legal nitty-gritty, New York has something called scaffold law. And what scaffold law does is it makes companies strictly liable to on-the-job injuries. And that's a legal way of saying that when you're doing projects in New York, it costs a lot of money in insurance. We could change scaffold law to not make companies strictly liable, but for there to be comparative negligent liability and save a lot of money for state projects. I want to save money. My opponent wants to take money because I believe at a young age, I learned that a dollar saved is $2 earned. And if you keep people happy and excited to live and do business in your state, I believe that you are a better steward of money than the government.